Golf isn't just a physical game, it's a mental challenge. I know that for a fact. Today, we're diving into the psychological aspects of the game that often make all the difference. You have found Quiet Please, the golf podcast, once again. Thank you for joining us. If you're listening to us on the podcast, wherever you may be, give us a little 5 star, give us a little like, give us a little review. And if you are watching our new YouTube channel, reach over there, subscribe, also comment. We always like to hear things from our listeners. As always, I have an illustrious panel, although we're playing in a threesome today, going out in a threesome, and joining in that threesome is Mr. Andy Hydorn, the ever-present one.
I have the honor, Your Honor.
Your Honor, Your Honor.
I love that line.
And joining us from the Bluegrass State by way of Boston, Boston Bob. Now we call him Bourbon Baldessari.
Cheers as always.
So, Bobby, I've got two or three. I actually have a show. I have notes. I actually have notes, which is
You got the note. Yeah.
that in itself is impressive. But we actually kept the fourth chair empty, and I'm going to give this to you because noteworthy. A good man stepped into. I was introduced to him through you through the podcast here. We lost a great one this week. I mean, truly a good human being, and I defer to you, my friend.
Yeah, it was a tough week. Jeff Babineau, golf writer extraordinaire, human being extraordinaire, a good friend of mine for 40 years from the Boston area. He was South Shore Cape. I was North Shore. Andy knows that terminology.
Oh yeah.
Back in the Bay State, but we all Babs was Jeff Babineau. I mean, he was Babs. He was everybody's best friend. I wrote that in my Facebook post, and he was on our show. And I don't know how many times, and just always insightful, always so interesting. One of the best storytellers, out there in golf. And it just is absolutely, I thought he was the greatest kind of guy you'd want to meet. Everybody had the same sentiment. Golf writers, everybody he met across life. I mean, that's a hell of a testament.
Yeah,
He was president of the National Golf Writers Association.
Yeah,
he
right?
was. He was indeed. Yeah. And Andy, I was going to say, Christian is traveling for business. BE is got family already because we're this close to the Christmas holiday. But when we decided to record the show as opposed to trying to find a fourth, we got to keep the seat open for Jeff in honor
Yeah.
of him. I mean, like I said, I met him through you guys, through Bobby, through here, and what struck me is just his insight into and everything he accomplished. I mean, we're sitting there, we're talking about the Open Championship. Was it at Troon? And he's talking about that the par three, the 17th, the little short one. And I mean, it was
The
just
eighth, the eighth,
eighth.
the postage stamp.
Postage stamp. Yeah.
No, which one was this that they played 17 is a really short one.
That was Liverpool.
Liverpool. My apologies, Mr. Hydorn.
That was last year.
Okay. But I mean, Jeff joined us on that show right afterwards, and he was
Yeah.
just, I mean, his insight to the game, having been around it was impressive. He was a cool dude, and the short time I got to know him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I knew Jeff from Boston too. And unfortunately, the ever-present one on the Quiet Please podcast missed every show that he was on with us. So I was remiss at not being able to be on one of our shows with him. But definitely, he's an icon. And 62 years old is way, way too young to be dying of natural causes.
Yeah, I mean, he's got 3 kids, Keith, Derek, and Luke. Unbelievably great wife, Jane. He's going to be a grandfather later in December, two times. 2 of his sons expecting kids. So, it's devastating. I mean, to so many people. And yeah, he was a Golf Writers Association president. He won a whole bunch of awards for writing. Yeah, it does not seem real. Like it's a gut punch. Once you get a little bit older, you reflect on things like this. And I couldn't do this show Tuesday night if we were taping.
Yeah.
Last night was 50-50. It's still emotional for me. It's so sad, but
He was the Gary Larrabee of the South Shore.
yeah, yeah.
Long time editor of Golf Week. Any of you golfers out there? I mean, if you're ever Golf Week, I mean, he was the man behind that. I mean,
Yep.
it is. It's a gut punch, and we lost a good one. We lost a lot of insight and fairness in journalism. I mean, that was the other thing that struck me.
It's interesting you mentioned Golf Week, and it's very easy for us to forget what life was like back before digital. And Golf Week was the place
The place.
for
Yep.
all of the tournament information you could ever ask for. It was such a useful, piece of journalism that we all were attached to, and he was a huge part of it.
Another good friend of mine, Jack Brennan, was also the editor of Golf Week for a long time. I can't remember if he was before Jeff or vice versa, but yeah, I mean, Golf Week, you always open it up. You wanted to scour the results for all the tours, every mini tour from, how many you guys remember like the North Atlantic mini tour?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I played once.
The interesting thing too about that is, now everything's obviously it's digital, but it's all out there in the ethos, right? Like it's not in front of your face. So unless you're looking for, who won the Mid-Atlantic Tour event, you're not going to find it. Unless you're looking for who won the New Jersey Open, you're not going to find it. But damn, when you open that Golf Week, you got to see everything.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And it was great, just great reading to just see what's going on in the world of competitive golf.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, just it was a couple of weeks ago, right before Thanksgiving. I'm texting with Babs, and I said, "Hey, we're going to do an end of the year review. How about coming on?" Last week, I was texting with him. I sent him a couple of things. He had a wicked humor. I mean, he was great with the one-liners, and But I said, "Hey, how about coming on next week or the next week?" The next week was this week, so it's very apropos, Alan, that we have the empty chair because he should have been here with us.
Yeah.
So
Well,
if it was hockey, because that's my other sport, we'd do a stick tap. I don't know what the equivalent of that would be for golf.
Or the Red Sox hat for Bab. So
there you go.
Tip of the cap.
Tip of the cap. Andy, let's talk PGA Tour. Exciting moments, latest tournaments, Hero World Challenge, RSM Classic, highlights, who stands out, performance, top players. Tiger's playing. Tiger and Charlie.
Is it exciting, or are we just waiting for Hawaii for the regular season to start?
I don't know. You tell me.
No, I just think it's incredible that Scotty Scheffler shows up putting with the claw when he feels like it, not sometimes, and other times not when he doesn't feel like it. And he's experimenting, and he's been experimenting for a while, puts it in play, and has just another.
He experimented with like 10 out of 10 from inside 10 feet or some crazy statistic.
Just a dominant week. Like the guy is otherworldly.
Bobby PGA there. Any thoughts on JT? We actually had a JT sighting near the top of a leaderboard. What about that?
Yeah, I had to do a double take because I thought, whoa, okay. Is he back?
Was it a rain delay and they were showing a rebroadcast from a few years ago?
Yeah, maybe he's got his mojo back. Just wiped away a less than stellar year last year, and I thought he'd hang in there a little bit more. He's just, maybe he's just like anybody's human. You got to get back in the mix, and but Scotty just, I mean, is there any way you can get better? I don't know. Like it's insane.
Well, some guy with two thumbs picked Justin Thomas in DraftKings.
Nice.
Yep. I still lost though because I didn't pick Scotty.
But hey, they're I see it all over social now. I mean, they're the comparisons, Scotty and Tiger, Scotty and Tiger. I mean, Andy, is it for real? Is it
I ju- I
short-lived at this point?
I hate those era
I
versus
do also.
era,
I had to
you know,
ask.
comparisons. You know what would have been great if it was a time period where they were both in their prime, and
Well, now
that
you're like writing video games where we're supposed to now it's like
yeah,
Creed or whatever,
yeah,
Rocky Balboa, you know, Rocky in his prime would have
yeah.
been,
I mean, like you can only
and that's
wish.
why I'm dressed like South Philly, by the way, today.
Yeah.
Hey, yo, Adrian.
Yeah.
Got the look. Well, Andy read the article about Brooks Koepka and his comments, and you know, there's probably there's. I mean, to me, there was some. You sit here and think, all right, I get it. You know, what if the tour was intact with the John Rahms, with Brooks, with Brooke, DeChambeau, with everybody? It's a legit conversation point. It'd be like saying at the height at the height of Jack, you know, where's Weiskopf, where's Miller, where's Watson, some of those guys.
What's funny, I had a knockdown drag out TikTok fight with somebody who it was
Dude,
a while, but it was
dude,
a while back, but
you,
no, this
you
was for
open up
real.
Facebook and TikTok wars like nobody's business.
This was for real. Uh, but this guy was saying how because of the competition that Tiger faced versus the lack of competition that Jack faced, that it's a no-brainer that Tiger's the best golfer ever. And it may be, but I think Bobby, you just mentioned, the number of majors that like Lee Trevino, Gary Player, Tom Watson, like the number of majors that those guys have is incredible, right?
Those
And
social media threads, you ought to see. Here's one for you. Look at the number of top tens that Jack had.
yeah,
Top threes. How about winning
Yeah.
runner up?
I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, okay, 18, 15, whatever the number, I don't even know what they're at right now between the two, but the the amount of times he was at the top of the leaderboard, Jack, you still got to say he was the best.
yeah. Look, I think the easy argument to make is the full body of work goes to Jack, and the
I like that.
period of dominance goes to Tiger.
And that is why you are
Yep.
Andy Idorn.
Is that why?
That is why, yes.
Well,
Because as you said, the golf community, especially the swing analysis guys out, they're passionate about it. It's a very passionate group out on the web.
yeah, and there's so much recency bias too that, you know, people just don't know. Um,
You know, it's sort of like the Bobby Orr Wayne Gretzky comparison.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
who's the best? Yeah, Gretzky made all those points, but you know, if you're going to start a team, and we're wicked small bias, but you know, I think we think Orr is the best that ever laced them up.
Bobby Orr was
can we all
Bobby Orr.
agree though?
Wait a minute. I'm yeah, as you know, I'm a hockey guy also. Bobby Orr was a beast.
Yeah,
I mean, he could, you know, we used to talk to the boys about when you're growing up, your squirt level, you had one or two players that could dominate the entire game. And every year you went up the level, you had to get more of a team oriented. Bobby Orr was playing squirt hockey sometimes with the NHLers. I mean,
Oh yeah,
almost to the point, it almost looks like Connor McDavid now.
yeah.
yep.
I mean, he's just in another world.
It's funny too. Like I always laugh with my brothers as we watch old videos, and Phil Esposito looks like he couldn't skate a lick, right? I mean, he was such an ankle bender, and it was just horrible to watch. But the thing you wonder, we talk about equipment in golf all the time. think about the skates that those guys used to use versus the skates that they use today,
Right.
and how much more formed and how much more, rigid the boots are today versus the old leather boots that they had that Phil and those guys were skating on. And it's just amazing how much technology changes, and therefore, what looks like, a person who is struggling to do something that every player on the ice knows how to skate circles around Phil Esposito. You wonder if he had, you know,
How he could put up 76 goals in one season?
because other people were wearing leather boots too.
No, because he was a garbage goal getter.
He was.
He had sick hands in front of the net, and that's why I called my second child the garbage goaler.
Yeah. I true story. When I worked in the golf shop up in Hampton, New Hampshire, Phil came in and I made him a putter that he could hold like a hockey stick. And I put an extension on the shaft, bent it to the lie. That was what he wanted. And he couldn't have been a nicer guy. Like could not have been nicer.
Oh, I could say that about most the hockey guys. They're generally pretty good guys.
Yeah.
So Andy, you already teased it, but I want to finish one last thought here. Anything about the parent child whatever PNC? Anybody want to throw any thoughts in on that? Is it Team Daly? Is that who's going to get it done? We put any money
I
on
think,
this?
I think, well, first of all, there are a lot of strong teams. I looked at the lineups the other day, but no longer are the Woods just a sideshow because Charlie's big enough and strong enough that I think they can do some damage.
I think Charlie could carry him.
Yeah.
Yeah, might have to. Yeah, I didn't get to look at all
Literally,
the teams
they
yet.
might literally have to carry him.
And anytime John Daly doesn't win, I'm happy.
Oh,
Shots fired.
yeah, like right over the bow.
Yeah.
Bobby, you want to make any predictions? Is it Team Sing?
I didn't get a chance to look at all the teams yet. I don't know. I'd be kind of going blind a little bit, but um, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, VJ and his son do well in that thing. Trying to think, and although I didn't don't think Mike Thomas and Justin are playing, right?
They're not playing this year. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a heck of a team there. I don't know. I got to get back to you. I'll have
Is
my pick
is
next week.
is Cooch playing?
Yes.
I
That could be
negotiated
good.
that fee up front.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, so hey, you touched on it. Let's talk about this. We talked about ankle benders in hockey, golf equipment. We're 1 month out from the PGA Show. My email is blowing up with, "Are you going to be down at the show? Are you going to be down at the show? Come, hey, swing by our booth. Hey, we got the newest, latest, and greatest." But Andy, you are Mr. Technology. What golf gear is out there evolving today? Let's dive into some of the latest stuff. What are you hearing in your technological golf swing world?
Well, me being the Callaway guy that I always have been,
Yes, you are.
I think it's really cool that their model line that they're coming out with next year is called Elite, spelled ELY, Ely Callaway, ELYTE. And I think that's a pretty cool tribute to Mr. C. And I'm sure, like anything else, that the equipment's, you know, just another great, upgrade, adding 20 yards, whatever. um, but yeah, I don't. I've kind of gotten cynical about equipment these days anyway. I think if you look at the TaylorMades of the world, the Pings, the Callaways, the Titleists, I think there's a lot of really good, really similar product out there. And it comes down to, what brand you like, what are the aesthetics that you like. Um, so that's kind of where I sit on the whole thing. Although I will say that I did hear a lot of negative things about the prior year's ping driver that they put out. I heard that people were not getting good results with the G4, whatever number it was, but one that they introduced last year.
Robert, any brand loyalty, or is your inbox getting blown up as well? I'm sure.
Definitely getting nailed the last couple of few weeks at
Yeah.
the show, go on and on. And I think we're working on the date to get one of our favorite companies, Lab Golf. Bill Presley's been on many times, who's
Yep.
the inventor, founder. But Sam Hahn, we reached out to Sam. He wants to come on the show. So I think Lab Golf, not that they have a booth there, but what they're doing in the game and how this is adopting. And now I'm seeing total outlier, like just I'm seeing the Lab Golf, I'm seeing the directed force or the Mez or now the new Oz showing up into some advertising or print ads, like somebody selling a shirt, but they want to get the photo on the green. I'm like, well, that's pretty cool. So
Yeah.
used to be, all about the ping or the Scotties. And but I think, I think everybody's a little bit interested. It might be on the truly technology side with maybe tee times and predictive analysis with the AI and how that's getting into the game. I think on the clothing side is still some refinement on performance fabrics and wearing a shirt's going to make you play better because you feel better, you can stretch better, and this and that. So I mean, there's always going to be equipment in the ball, but the clothing and what AI is doing out there for technology, I'm interested in that.
Well, I tell you what, here's the AI one. Automated mowers. Now I'm gonna put my
Yeah, there
what's
you
my
go.
operational hat I could put on. Operational or automated mowers are taking over. That's the hot topic. And honestly, rightfully so. Labor is scarce as golf on the golf course side.
Yeah,
And I don't know, it's expensive. So I'll be honest with you, I don't have the dollars cents. I don't know it off to what it is off the top, but every golf show, whether it was the New England one I was at recently, I was recently speaking in Michigan, automated mowers. That's the rage.
yep, yep. I've got a couple of friends that are using it. One's at a municipal 9-hole course in Massachusetts, and they're using it.
Really?
Yep, Westboro,
Oh, I know
Matt Griffith.
Westboro. Yep.
Yeah, Matt Griffith out there. He
I
told me
actually
that.
stay I actually stay in the Westboro hotel area whenever I'm up in there. It's just I'm a creature of habit.
There you go. You just stop in and see what they're doing.
I should. Andy, you hearing anything about good threads? You were in the apparel side at various times in your career. Anything
Yeah.
with that or
I I don't know that I've seen anything earth-shattering coming out in the
okay.
apparel side.
All right.
Um,
How about custom fitting?
and I'm not really getting the email floods that you guys are getting, so kind of I'm on the loop maybe.
You know who again, you know who I'm getting is I'm getting companies like Bobby and I were talking just before you joined us, Andy, is Notify, which is that tea time system that they
Yeah,
you know they'll let you courses that sign up with them, they basically have a search engine that's running and checking your tee times at all times and sending notifications to people. Cool idea, cool concept. So those guys are reaching out, like different apps companies are reaching out. Uh, Point of sale companies are just, nonstop lately, reaching out because it's the time in the northern climates, it's the time to make a change if you're going to make a change. So
if you're ever gonna make it, now's the time.
exactly.
Here's one. Had a couple of phone calls. Did a Zoom walkthrough with the new company called Zigit, Zigit,
I think it's
and they
cool.
yeah, very interesting. It's facial analysis so that you can buy beverages and you prepay it and goes to your Apple Pay or whatever. And if you want to buy a beer, it's already scanned. It is already um, I guess approved and knows that you're of legal age and pretty interesting.
Actually, I can tell you about it, Bob. Is you scan your face, you scan your license, it reaches into the database for the for whatever particular state, identifies that you are of age, and literally you could stand there and put one of these machines out in your golf course, eliminates your beverage cart, and you want a cold brewski? Boom. Done.
Yeah,
Dispensed. 32 degrees. Or no, 34.
yeah, yeah. It's really neat technology.
Any anything else on the on that front? I'm sure it'll heat up in the next month or so, but any other good products you've been seeing?
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be super interesting to track the continuous flow of technology products that keep coming into this, golf world. It's amazing. Like like any other industry too, things seem to be able to break through onto the market, and then all of a sudden there's a ton of Me Too's out there, and they end up really driving the price down from what the initial technology was warranting in terms of the consumer pricing. And I think you look at the launch monitor world, there's so many options out there right now, um, that you can get for really reasonable money. And some of the gaming technology out there, it's really been pretty awesome. And I think there's so many people now that have a golf room, whether it's a garage or a basement or another room in the house, that people have a net set up, and some sort of launch monitor device, digital gaming, whatever it is. It's just amazing how much of that has taken over.
Well, Bobby mentioned his name. Bill Pressey was just on recently with us. I mean, he made the point, and I agree with him. The cost of a high quality simulator has come down so much. I mean,
Yeah.
people are going to have these things. Golf caves are going to be everywhere now.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's a good business to be in.
Yeah, it's like any kind of, I guess, technology that happens out there. Computers, TVs over time, the technology gets better. Pricing gets more affordable. I agree. I mean, I got members, I have people coming all the time going, "Hey, I'm just thinking in my garage, I can put in a pretty serviceable simulator, work on my
Yeah.
game."
Hey, I'm an empty nester, and
Yeah,
Junior went off, and guess what? I'm turning his room into a man cave.
yeah,
I
Oh,
just bought I bought a new net called from Net Return. Um, and you'll see it advertised everywhere on social media. Bryson's always advertising it. One thing that always kind of makes me, a little bit scared is hitting into a net, because at some point you're gonna bust through it, and you're gonna destroy something on the other side of the net. Um, but apparently I did some research, and this net return company's got some really good long-lasting product that's got some good warranties, and it's getting a lot of good usage across the whole landscape.
you're gonna start hitting shots over your house and trying to make a hole in one like Bryson.
Nah, that's not my game. I'm not a good wedge player. He did it though, didn't he?
he
Yeah.
did.
Yeah. Day
And then there was,
16.
I saw this video, a young kid in California, maybe the dad's on the roof.
I saw
Kid
that
hits
too.
over.
I
That was
saw that.
awesome.
I didn't see this one. What happened?
Yeah, I think it was in California. Might have been 10 or 12 years old. He's doing the Bryson thing, hitting a wedge over the house. In the backyard, they've got a small synthetic set up for a green, and the dad is on the roof with the probably his phone camera, and he follows the shot, goes on there, makes it. Kid comes running around the house, going crazy. Does a like a Christmas angel.
They were hitting plastic balls though,
Oh,
because they
were they?
didn't
Okay.
I thought you were
they
going to tell
didn't
me
quite
that I was
trust
going to.
Junior.
I thought you were going to tell me that he caught one thin and took out the picture window.
Nope, they made sure that that wouldn't happen.
Well, here's
Oh,
a
but
true story. If I think the statute of limitations has run out, and my dad's passed away, so there's no way he can get too pissed off at me. But there's a couple of assistant pros still out there. Brad Duran in Massachusetts, That I think Brad will remember this. So if you listen to Brad, because I think Brad bet me that at Hillview Country Club back in the day, the golf shop was disattached from the clubhouse. On the other side of the clubhouse was the ninth green. So
Nice.
I'm up for any challenge. There's a member guest, huge ballroom on the upper level of Hillview Country Club. It's still there. There's a massive ballroom window. It looks out at the time it looked out at the parking lot. So Brad bets me that I can't hit a golf ball from the parking lot up and over the clubhouse to the ninth green while the member guest party's going on. So I said, sure, I can do anything. So I fire one right over and I knocked it on the green. And I look back on that and I go, oh my God, what if I thinned it?
My dad's gonna kill me.
He's gonna kill me. I'll never survive. Like, yeah. Well, there's cars there too. They're all Cadillacs and whatever. And yeah, I that's a true story.
So another true story. I fell in love with golf. I was 9 years old, living in Milford, Massachusetts. My brother and I took my dad's shag bag in the backyard and started rifling balls. My brother rifled one right through the neighbor's window, and just
Oops.
watching that ball go up, and just it was the most amazing thing I'd ever seen in my life. And that kind of got me stuck on the golf bug.
It does it. Hey, we should do that more often, get more people into the game.
Start breaking windows.
The stories of youth in the silliness when I got into the game. Bobby will remember this name. I worked for Bobby Kennedy when he was at
Sure.
Fire Springs, and
Yeah.
I worked in the bag room, and I was going to dive into focus and mindfulness on the golf course, but and mental toughness. This is mental toughness. We would literally drop balls in the bag room, and this is probably why I have no backswing, Andy, because the we were hitting from this little confined area,
Low ceilings.
low ceilings, and I rifle one out the back door towards the cart barn, only to have it hit the railing and come flying back into the bag room.
Whoops.
We're all ducking for cover.
Whoops.
So we then
Oh,
so we then went to Bobby's desk and grabbed that fifth that he kept down in the left-hand corner, and we headed out on a golf cart.
That's so awesome.
and that's before social media and videos, so we're all safe.
Absolutely. Three-wheel cart jumping with a three-wheel cart over an old green.
And Bobby, you have more experience in this grow the game thing than any of the rest of us combined. But I got to tell you, if you got kids a chance to break windows with a 5-wood, that's a little thing that's going to get people attached to this game.
We're gonna add that into the curriculum.
Yep.
Put that out on the driving range. Do like the big break.
I was just going to
Yeah.
say the big break, glass break thing was awesome.
Yeah.
You could almost do that. Like we're morphing hockey into this. You know how they put the circles up in the corners?
Yeah.
We could do that with the kids. They could break the circles.
The one there, Ray Bork hit all four.
Yeah.
With 4 shots.
Yep.
That was awesome.
Yep.
Wicked awesome.
So Andy, in those days when you were a rebel as a young man, what is the importance of mental toughness in the game of golf? Let's dive into that for a moment.
Well,
Handling pressure.
it's funny, right? I think Stephen Yellen, who's been on the show, and there's this weird thing about, golf coaches in general get criticized by other golf coaches all the time. I think you take mental coaches and you amp that up 10 times, right? Stephen Yellen posts some really interesting things online, and he's such a gentleman at taking the abuse that he takes. And I know, Bobby, you see it. But he's got this new book out called The Science of Silence. That I don't know if it's ready. I think it's not quite ready, but it'll be coming out soon. But Stephen's whole thing is all about, creating silence, creating brain silence so that you can, get out of your own way and perform at the level that we know you should be able to perform at. And it's just, to me, when you talk about those things, I think as a kid, you tend to not have all those thoughts in your brain. You tend to not have, the things that cause you to be anxious, fear of failure, and all those things just aren't part of being a kid growing up and learning how to play golf. So I think, being able to kind of channel that feeling like when you were a kid is an unbelievable, benefit to your ability to deal with the mental side.
I've read things where I'll butcher this, but basically, if infants and newborns or toddlers could understand language, they'd never walk because people would be overanalyzing, and the minute they fell, they'd be criticizing. And so, kids at that early age, they just learn by just trying, and it's not doesn't get cluttered. I completely agree, Andy. When I was a kid, junior golfer, I was just hitting the ball, looking at the target, and feeling it, and then it's like you get exposed to some of the toxicity of older golfers and all their skeletons in the closet that they try to dump on you. Yeah. And I'll see like, oh, I never thought of that. And but it just, we got to get Steven back on. Actually, I just wrote myself a note. It was like Hogan was almost the first psychoanalysis, get it out of the dirt. And then Bob Rotella came along, more sophisticated. And there's been so many along the way. But Steven is really, I think he's onto something there.
It's funny. Steven posted something this week about what goes through your mind when you're faced with a 40-foot flag putt, right? And he compared it to playing catch with somebody. You're playing catch with somebody from 10 feet away, and then you move back to like 30 feet away. Do you start verbalizing the changes you need to make in your throw to make up for the difference in distance? No, that's a ridiculous thing to even consider, right? But we do all the time make those things verbalized in golf. When you're trying to verbalize to somebody how to hit a putt hard enough to go 60 feet, like, how is that even a thing, right? And Steven's point is that, your computer, your brain's your computer, and your computer, you look at it, you assess it, you figure it out. There's no need to go any deeper than that. You just trust that your computer knows what to do. And therefore, that's how you achieve that silence, and you're able to perform at the level that you really should be able to perform at.
Andy, I'd like to thank you for bringing putting into the conversation, because this is my only opportunity to input.
Just tossing you a bone there, Alan.
I appreciate that, because we all know that my game, I chop it up like a Japanese steakhouse anymore. I will tell you, honest to God, and I know we joke because my putting in our time we played in BE's tournament there, I literally only think about making it. I'd like to think I can know how to putt, but I don't care if I'm 10 feet or 60 feet. I only think about finding the path, the line, and I think about making it. I'm thinking about making every single putt.
And that's why you're a good putter. Like, I know so many people. Like, I play with a guy every weekend here, Jeff Stringer, who's a really good player, but he'll stand over a 60-foot putt that's a little downhill, and he'll tell everybody, because everybody wants to hear his methodology. But he'll say, I'm going to hit this for 38 feet. What?
Okay, I'm not Bryson. Listen.
Well, that is a Bryson thing.
That is a Bryson, absolutely.
It's a total Bryson thing.
No, but what I'm saying is, and I'll tell you what one in particular. We were playing that par 3 right after two holes after Nagar, and and
I know the exact hole you're talking about.
Yeah, I can still see it, a little left to righter.
Yeah,
and I mean, I'm up until that point. That was the first hole I missed, I think, that day when we were playing, and it pissed me off.
Yeah, that was the first hole that I got to hit a putt. We were 12 holes deep into a scramble, and I hadn't hit a putt yet.
But Bobby, here, okay, so we're talking about mental toughness. We got the pressure cooker of all pressure cookers going right now. Q school, baby.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, what do you do to pull it back when when you're so tight that you can't pass a BB?
Yeah, that's a good one. On the one hand, no personal knowledge, but the only thing that comes to mind that's any relevance is when you're trying to be a PGA America member, you have to do a playing ability test. And there's some really good players that have struggled to get over that because of the mental side. I happened to pass it my first time and played well, and
Bastard.
you know, it's the biggest one of the bigger cliches, but you're like, hey, hit it in the fairway, hit it on the green, one shot at a time, stay in the present. Way easier said than done. But that, I mean, but the PAT, and I've had front page coverage in some of the places I've lived because I talked to the sports editors and I said, this can make or break somebody's career. They
Yep.
could end up in the insurance industry or way over here in golf. You just never know.
I will share it took me three by the time, but by the way, it took me three times. Um, First time was respectable because I literally missed by one. The second time I missed by two. But the funny story was when I passed at Bryce Resort down in Virginia, as I fired 73 in the first round. I'm on cruise control, and I step up on the first hole of the second round, and I literally take it back, and somebody blows his horn on my downswing. And I hit it so far dead right into the just cabbage. I mean, in the hazard, just brutal. And then to your point, it all starts popping into your head. Oh my God, I'm about to shoot 89. Oh my God, I can't get back and tell my other half that I just failed again and I can't become a PGA member. Oh my God, where's my sand wedge? I just gotta find the golf course.
It's tough. I mean, you know, stroke play under the rules of golf. People think they play the rules of golf. They don't. I've told many amateurs, you don't really play by the rules of golf like a strict tournament. There's a lot of stuff. I mean, it's fine and it's good and enjoy it and play more and spend more in the golf economy. But that's another thing that's for another show is people just don't play by the rules.
And by the way, I'm having flashbacks right now, Andy. So I will tell you the next part to the story is I then hit a hosel rocket, snap fade on the third hole. And now it was truly a mental amoeba.
But you got it together.
I did somehow. I think I turned like 43 that.
Well, how many times did Phil McGlenow miss Q school before he changed his name to Mac O'Grady and made it?
That's right. Was it 11 or 13?
It was an immense number. Yeah. Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy.
And then became a swing guru.
He's a total swing guru now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like Brandel Chablis.
And a crazy bastard too, from what I understand.
Huh. All right, boys. We're heading down the back. No, actually, we're to the 18th tee. Look at that. We're already there. You know what, Andy? We're gonna let you go first. I'm gonna defer to Bobby. You get to close it out tonight.
All right, so I'm gonna start by asking you guys a question. What's the most exclusive, difficult club to get in golf?
The Woodford Club.
I actually heard somebody. I saw something posted one time. What's the one out in Chicago?
Chicago Golf Club.
Yeah. Am I right?
I have a funny story about that, but no, you're both wrong. The answer is the Champions Tour. So
Oh,
they
great
just had the qualifier for the Champions Tour. 5 players make it. Soren Kelton, Freddie Jacobsen, Mark Walker, who's a total journeyman, Felipe Aguilar, and Brendan Jones were the 5 guys who were lucky enough to play good and get in. But it's amazing. Like Angel Cabrera, a 2-time major winner, no card. Scott Perrell, who was one of the better players on that tour a few years ago, no card. Rob Labritz, who was one of those guys
Yeah.
that broke through, he's not he doesn't have a card anymore.
Wow.
Guys like JJ Henry, who played years on the PGA Tour.
Yeah.
It used to be that if you had a career on the PGA Tour, you got carte blanche on the Champions Tour, and now it is the most exclusive, club to get in golf. One last piece
I'm shocked. Before you go in, I'm shocked
yeah,
that Cabrera did not break out.
yeah, of jail. But am I your straight man? Is that
I
is that
tell you
what's
what,
going on?
I just got it going tonight.
Yeah. One last piece I want to mention. For those of you who are on, the golf community and social media, there's a guy, Bob Grissett, who was one of the best posters. He would post some of the most amazing things and on a regular basis. It was truly a pleasure. I got to know Bob, um, when I was working with Sports Box and with Iconic. I got to know Bob pretty well. He had some health issues, and Bob had some sort of health episode, and he had a stroke or something happened to him. This was probably a year and a half ago, and nobody's heard from him since. We don't know if he's passed away. We think that somebody now has taken over, his health care and his finances. It's a really strange, bizarre story, and it's super sad to see because Bob was a great guy. I loved dealing with Bob and I loved talking to him, and I just hope he's okay out there.
Speaking of okay, nice segue. Appreciate that. Jordan Spieth, my note is I'm hoping him a great return. He's feeling no pain following his off-season surgery, prepping for a healthy return in 2025. Can't wait to see Jordan. He is truly a good ambassador for the game, despite being a superstar. And ambassadors for the game, any executive headhunters that are out there, yes, I will take the job with the LPGA, which will be coming soon. So, I'll give you my address, my email address if you'd like to reach out to me. Bobby?
Well, we'll end with don't know if I can do this. Sorry. Just miss your gods.
Cheers.
All we need to say.